Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sherifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer.
6 Russian group of forces Axis report offensive activity. South Group liberates 172 buildings in Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. West Group takes more advantageous lines and positions. East Group continues advancing into enemy defense depths. Total claimed Ukrainian losses across all sectors reach 14,440 troops. Russian operational tactical aviation, UAVs, missile troops, and artillery strike UAV storage facilities, energy and transport infrastructure, and temporary deployment areas in 142 locations. Air defense systems shoot down 15 guided aerial bombs and 540 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, it's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's start with the big picture. The report shows total Ukrainian losses across all 6 sectors of 1,440 troops in a single day. That is a significant daily attrition rate. How should we interpret that number in the context of Ukraine's ability to generate fresh forces?
1,440 troops in 24 hours is a very high figure, but it is not unprecedented. What matters is not just the raw number, but which units are taking those losses. When we look at the sector breakdown, the East Group alone accounts for more than 510 of those casualties, and those are drawn from 2 air assault brigades, 2 assault regiments, and a mechanized brigade. Those are not rear echelon territorial units, they are mobile, high-readiness formations. Sustaining losses at this rate will force the Ukrainian command to either rotate those brigades out of the line prematurely or feed in inexperienced replacements. That degrades unit cohesion and reduces the Army's ability to mount any large-scale counterattack. The cumulative effect over weeks is a slow but steady hollowing out of Ukraine's best combat power.
Let's go sector by sector, starting with the North Group. They improved the tactical situation, a phrase we heard yesterday as well, and inflicted losses on a mechanized brigade, a motorized infantry brigade, and a territorial defense brigade. But there is no mention of capturing any settlement. What does improved the tactical situation actually mean on the ground in the Kharkov and Sumy regions?
In military reporting, improved the tactical situation means that Russian units advanced their forward line of troops, seized key terrain features such as tree lines, hillocks, or road junctions, or forced Ukrainian units to withdraw from advantageous defensive positions without necessarily capturing a named town. In the North Sector, we see activity near Katerinoka and Luzhki in Sumy region, which suggests probing operations aimed at pinning down Ukrainian border guards and preventing them from reinforcing Kharkov. In Kharkov region, the strikes near Rubezhnoye, Ivanovka, and Varvarovka indicate that Russian forces are continuing to expand the buffer zone north of Kharkov city. The loss of 235 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, and 16 motor vehicles suggests that Ukraine is fighting back hard. But the fact that the North Group can still claim improvement means they are advancing, even if slowly. This is methodical positional warfare.
Why are there no territorial gains listed for North today, while yesterday they captured 2 settlements?
Because operational tempo is not linear. Yesterday's capture of Shevchenko and Okremovka required a concentrated assault. Today, the North Group is likely consolidating those gains, conducting clearance operations, and repelling counterattacks. Improving the tactical situation often means widening the shoulders of a salient, destroying Ukrainian artillery that threatens the flanks, and preparing for the next bound forward. You cannot capture a new settlement every day. Sometimes you have to grind down the enemy's reserves in the intervening ground.
Moving to the West Group. They also took more advantageous lines and positions and destroyed a partisan MLRS, that is a multiple launch rocket system. They also hit a Marine brigade. What is the significance of engaging a Marine brigade in this sector?
Ukrainian Marine brigades are typically elite, amphibious-trained units that have been used as rapid reaction forces. Finding one near Smorodkovka or Krasny Liman suggests that Ukraine is shifting its best units to the Kharkov-Donetsk border area to stem the Russian advance. The destruction of a partisan MLRS, which is a domestically produced multiple rocket launcher, is noteworthy because these systems are mobile and hard to catch. Its loss indicates that Russian reconnaissance and counter-battery assets are effectively hunting Ukrainian rocket artillery. The 220 troop losses, 3 armored fighting vehicles, and 16 motor vehicles in the west sector add to the daily toll. The phrase "more advantageous lines" implies that Russian units have occupied ground that gives them better observation or fire control over Ukrainian supply routes.
Now the South Group, this is where the most dramatic action is. They liberated 172 buildings in Konstantinovka. The report says assault groups of the 3rd and 8th Armies and the 3rd Army Corps are advancing in the Krasny Oktyabr and Krasny Gorodok microdistricts and finishing the mopping up of the Pervomaysky district. Can you explain the tactical significance of clearing a city by the number of buildings, not by the entire city?
This is a very important distinction. Konstantinovka is a sizable urban area. Liberating 172 buildings in a single day is not the same as capturing the whole city, but it shows that Russian forces are conducting systematic house-to-house clearing operations. They are not just pushing through, they are securing each structure to prevent Ukrainian forces from re-infiltrating. The mention of specific microdistricts, Krasny Oktyabr, Krasny Gorodok, and Pervomaysky, indicates that the battle has broken down into compartmentalized urban sectors. The 3rd Army Corps is a relatively new formation, and its involvement suggests that Russia is rotating in fresh troops for urban assault, while keeping more experienced units for maneuver warfare elsewhere. The fact that they have already finished mopping up Pervomaysky district means the district is fully under Russian control. This is slow, bloody work, but it is also irreversible.
And in that sector, they also destroyed a German-made Leopard-2 tank. That is the first Leopard-2 destruction reported in this week's briefings. What does that tell you about the composition of Ukrainian forces in the Donetsk area?
The Leopard-2 is a 3rd-generation main battle tank, one of the most capable Western platforms supplied to Ukraine. Its destruction near Druzhkovka or Nikolaevka confirms that Ukraine has committed its NATO-equipped heavy brigades to the Donetsk front. Those tanks are not easy to replace. Germany has limited stocks, and production is slow. Each Leopard-2 lost is a strategic attrition point. Moreover, the fact that it was destroyed by the South Group, which is conducting urban clearance, suggests that the tank was used either in a direct fire support role or in a counterattack that failed. Urban terrain is dangerous for any tank, but especially for a heavy Western design that was optimized for open field maneuver warfare. Russian forces are likely using drones, anti-tank guided missiles, and artillery to hunt these high-value targets.
The Center Group reported up to 315 troop losses for Ukraine, plus 4 armored fighting vehicles, and they engaged an airborne brigade. The locations include Novopavlovka in the Dnepropetrovsk region. That is significant because Dnepropetrovsk is west of Donetsk. What does it mean that Russian strikes are reaching into Dnepropetrovsk region?
It means the front line is not static. Novopavlovka is in Dnepropetrovsk region, which until recently was considered a rear area. Russian forces are now striking Ukrainian units there, either through long-range fires or because the forward line of troops has advanced to that vicinity. The Center Group's area of responsibility typically covers the Avdiivka-Osheretin-Pokrovsk axis. If they are engaging targets in Dnepropetrovsk region, that suggests that Russian troops have pushed through Donetsk region and are now operating on the administrative border. The engagement of an airborne brigade, again, an elite unit, confirms that Ukraine is throwing its best forces into this sector to try to hold the line. 315 casualties in one day for a single sector is a heavy price.
Now the East Group. They continued advancing to the depth of the enemy's defense. That phrase suggests a more significant penetration than just improving the tactical situation. They inflicted more than 510 troop losses and destroyed a US-made 155mm Paladin self-propelled artillery system. They also hit 2 air assault brigades and 2 assault regiments. What does advancing to the depth mean operationally?
Advancing to the depth means that Russian units are not just taking the first trench line, they are pushing through multiple defensive belts, potentially exploiting a breach. This is a higher tempo of operation than improving the tactical situation. In the east sector, the locations include Ivanovka, Novoandreevka, and Prosianaya in Dnepropetrovsk region, as well as Trudovoy, Tersyanka, Yegorovka, and Voskresenka in Zaporozhye region. That is a wide front. The fact that 2 air assault brigades and 2 assault regiments are taking heavy losses suggests that Ukraine is conducting counterattacks with its most mobile units, and those counterattacks are being blunted. The destruction of a Paladin self-propelled howitzer, a US-made highly accurate artillery piece, is significant because those systems are used for precision counter-battery fire. Losing one reduces Ukraine's ability to suppress Russian artillery in that sector. More than 510 troops lost in a single day.
And the Dnepr Group. They inflicted losses on 2 mechanized brigades and, crucially, destroyed 5 electronic warfare stations. Yesterday, we talked about the cumulative destruction of EW systems. Today, another 5. What is the operational effect of losing 5 EW stations in one day in the southern sector?
The Dnepr sector covers the Kherson axis and the Zaporozhye front near the Dnepr River. Electronic warfare stations there are essential for 2 missions. First, jamming Ukrainian drones that threaten Russian supply lines to Crimea. Second, disrupting Ukrainian uncrewed surface vessel operations in the Dnepr Delta. Destroying 5 such stations in a single day is a major blow. Each station might cover a radius of tens of kilometers. Removing them creates gaps in Ukraine's drone detection and jamming umbrella. That allows Russian reconnaissance drones to operate more freely, which then feeds targeting data for artillery and missile strikes. The loss of 18 motor vehicles also suggests that supply convoys are being interdicted. With only 45 troop losses reported, this sector is less intense in terms of infantry combat, but the EW and logistics degradation is setting conditions for future operations.
Now we turn to the dedicated segment on operational tactical aviation. The report states that operational tactical aviation, UAVs, missile troops, and artillery struck UAV storage facilities, energy and transport infrastructure, and temporary deployment areas in 142 areas. Air defense shot down 15 guided aerial bombs and 540 fixed-wing UAVs. Colonel Oguntoye, how should we think about aviation as a campaign-shaping domain rather than just a supporting arm?
First, the strike component. Hitting 142 areas in a single day is not just random bombing. The targets are carefully chosen. Long-range UAV storage facilities to degrade Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russia. Energy and transport infrastructure to collapse the logistics network that moves Western weapons from ports to the front. And temporary deployment areas to kill personnel before they ever reach the contact line. This is a systematic effort to disconnect the Ukrainian army from its supply base. Second, the air defense component. Shooting down 540 fixed-wing UAVs in one day is an enormous volume. These are not all large reconnaissance drones. Many are small, cheap, and abundant. But by maintaining a kill rate of over 500 per day, Russian air defense forces are imposing a cost on Ukraine's drone campaign. Ukraine has to manufacture or import thousands of drones every week just to replace those losses. That strains their industrial base.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity.